on the call. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Howdy.
Hello, welcome to the stream.
Thank you, thank you.
All right,
Thanks for having
so
us.
absolutely. Can you just introduce yourselves according to how you'd like people to know you?
Sure, so I'm Jared, and
I'm Dan.
All right, Jared and Dan. I will. I've got the association for who's who here in the Discord. Um, all right. So, can you tell me, Jared, what was your role on this project?
so I on our team I mostly do 3D assets as well as Dan and I usually share programming.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then Dan, were you focused on the programming or?
Yeah, I took a mostly programming-centric role for this one, and also level design, that sort of thing.
All right, nice. So if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask, then please go ahead and post them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll go ahead with our first question here, which is, how did you guys decide on what you were going to make for the jam?
That was a task.
Right.
We spent a lot of the first day just trying to brainstorm an idea. We had a handful of different ideas rolling around, but trying to figure out how to actually turn them into games was tricky.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of had the idea for the theme. We worked it backwards, and then the actual gameplay came afterwards, which um, I don't want to rag on it, but I think the theme and the like the idea have some legs, but or have some wings, but I don't know about the actual gameplay itself.
Okay, that's all right. Okay, so plants need power. Oh, that disappeared a little quickly before I was able to read it. So can you maybe give me a quick primer on the controls, because the text kind of disappeared before I had a chance to read it. I'm trying to focus on what you're saying more than just what I'm seeing on the screen here.
That's all good. All it said was plants need both sun and water.
Okay.
So the controls work so right and left on A and D, and then forward and backward on W and S. And not much more than that.
Right. So it is a sort of like a tank controls kind of thing.
Right.
All right. So my objective here is, I'm like growing a little plant on my head. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I've just got to keep supplying it with sunlight and water.
Right. Also, to answer a question in chat, we were gonna have some in-game explanations for why there's sunlight on Mars and why there's just a laser beam of sunlight. We didn't quite get that far.
So yeah, but I do agree the models are quite cute. And Null Blind, I hope my explanation was clear that yes, I am still fundamentally playing through games that they were submitted on the Discord, but I'm also just picking random games in between from members who are present in chat, just to give people a chance at being selected. And if you are both in the queue and also here in the chat, then you just have even more chance of your game guaranteed to be being played. All right, so did you sort of come to this idea collaboratively, or did you, like, one of you have the idea and then you just agreed on it? How did that work?
So the idea for the theme, we sort of piggybacked off of an idea that we had before the jam, and we definitely sort of came to the actual gameplay naturally while we were working on it. We were hoping, when we go forward with this project, we had the idea to make it more of like a puzzle-based sort of narrative game, but we needed something to call it a game for our submission.
Yeah,
so.
that's sort of just the thing with games, is they kind of need gameplay, and we got pretty far into it without having any, so we had to throw something together. But I'm content with it for the purposes of the jam.
Oh, I see. So you only have a limited amount of time before it starts to the meter starts to drain down, so you have to go back and forth really quickly.
Right.
All right. Yes, it is. Raining on Mars. Yeah, sorry, you already addressed that comment in the chat earlier. But yeah, so what was your actual development process like?
So we started day one. We came up with our idea, and then I think we started developing that night. We sat down and we got the assets created, the 3D assets created, and then from there we got the movement controller and some of the actual game logic implemented from day 2 onward.
Mm. Yeah, I think it wasn't until day 2 that we had an idea at all for the gameplay aspect. So we spent most of the first day working on theme, and then basic controls, stuff we knew we were gonna need regardless. Getting the camera set up and the little treads that are on the sand there and that sort of thing.
Nice. I think I'm getting a kind of a handle on how to play the game here if I just continue to sort of keep topped up on one resource until the other resource becomes an advantageous position.
Yeah. It we didn't intend to make it tedious and frustrating, but it kind of is.
Well, I guess any time that you sort of have the possibility of losing progress on a resource that you have to keep sort of topping up, that. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about how you plan on changing it.
We'd like it to be a bit more narrative focused. We were gonna. We didn't have time for it, but we were gonna do some illustrations for the opening scroll of text. Sort of help set the scene. We're gonna take it more slowly from where the little spaceship sort of crash landed, and we plan to have other robots there on Mars as well that you can interact with and that sort of thing.
I do have one question for you. We've gotten some comments about our control scheme, and I was wondering if there was any specific input you would have as to if if there was any way that you would suggest improving it.
I guess as Lurk Nautilai is mentioning, it would be easier if the character sort of moved forward, backwards, in accordance to the being able to like rotate the camera around. So if it was a bit more like a standard third-person controller as opposed to a tank controller, but then like if I'm like trying to turn to the right, like if my character is going forward, I'm turning to the right, that makes sense. If I'm coming back towards me and then I start pressing turn to the right, now I start going to the left. So I think that's one of the main disconnects, is that it works well enough if you have the camera centered behind the character. And you can even sort of keep the tank controls, but I would, rather than using the mouse to move the camera around, you could make it so that like left and right actually pan the camera around behind you, just so that, right is always right and left is always left. Are you keeping a sort of focused camera so that you can, not have to decorate anything on the other sides closer to the screen?
Yeah, that was definitely one reason we went with the fixed camera angle.
We've actually worked on a previous project that had a bit of a bigger scope than this one, and we had essentially the same control scheme, except you could move the camera. And we got some complaints about that one as well, so we decided, let's remove part of the equation, and so we'll see. It kind of works out and it kind of doesn't, so
yeah.
I think
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, one solution if we wanted to try and keep the fixed angle would be just to detect the angle that the player's looking and then invert the controls if it exceeds a certain angle. That might be jarring, but
it would be.
Yeah.
I think that if you wanted to keep the fixed camera angle, then the game would probably just play better with a joystick, or it would like, and then whatever direction you're holding it on the joystick, the character just moves in that direction. And yeah, did I beat the game? Like, now that I grew the little flower?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I can sort of post around on Mars while we continue to chat about the game. It's a little less mentally taxing for me than I can actually
Yes,
focus on what's being
right.
said. So you're going to hear me talking to you. I'm just going to be driving like face first into a wall like this. All
Completely
right.
fine.
So, is there a particularly useful shortcut or a clever hack that you can recommend for others in the Unity engine?
One thing, one feature I'm a big fan of that I don't see get used too often is scriptable objects.
Oh yeah, super useful.
Just being able to essentially create a custom data type that you can do almost anything you want to with is super powerful. So, I think definitely being able to utilize those is a very, very helpful thing.
And I'm of the mindset of this isn't exactly a simple thing, but using version control inside Unity is
Yes.
pretty great. I'm a big proponent of we've got a Perforce server set up between the two of us, and if you can take the time to set that up, it makes collaborating on projects a lot easier.
Oh, incredibly. Yeah, and it like my personal experience is using GitHub Desktop. It is so easy to get set up with it now. Like the fact you don't have to use command line console like anything. It's just hey, you got a list of changes, tick the ones you want, and then commit. You're done. You're good.
It's so nice.
Cool. Yeah, I also like as Lurk Nodal is saying, I have not come across Perforce before.
Oh, so a quick description of what I don't know if you've heard of it before, you know what it is, but Perforce is good for binaries. So Git is good for code, but Perforce will actually let you version control your entire Unity project. So two people can be working on the same Unity project and have different things checked out at the same time, so you never can write over the same file.
Oh yeah, that sounds incredibly useful.
I think Unity actually has Collaborate. I think has some of the same features, and you don't actually have to set up a server yourself. But I don't know if there's a free. I don't know if that's a free feature or not. I haven't actually looked into it.
I don't think so. I think that's one of the paid features. So just one other small detail about the controls. I'm noticing that if I bump into something, it adjusts my rotation, and then it almost feels like I have to steer in the opposite direction. Like I don't know exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, we try to minimize that as much as we can. It was a bit worse than what you're experiencing now, but we.
Oh my goodness! I managed to check upside down.
Oh yeah, beautiful. So you can fly off if you do that.
Oh, hey, we're exploring. We're exploring. We're going.
Yes.
Out of bounds. Oh my goodness!
The DuckTales theme going.
What? How do I find these glitches? Well,
I only got it to happen once when we were developing it, and I could not figure out how to recreate it. It's beautiful.
Yes! I don't think I've ever seen it upside down like that.
Oh, that's nice.
DuckTales movie. Oh, here we go. Oh! Oh!
Yes!
Oh! Oh, I think I'm stuck. This might be the limit. Do you have like a solid collider? Look at what is going on. I can just fly now.
So there's not a ceiling collider. So
what? I can just hold backwards and I fly up.
Yeah.
I can't really do the DuckTales moon theme. It's beautiful, but here we go. We're going off. We're
to the moon.
I mean, we've complete.
We'll just make the ceiling
exactly.
collider
Our mission
when you
is
interact
done.
with it. Just plays the DuckTales theme when you get to a certain height.
Yeah. That was our mission, right? We're supposed to cultivate plants and send them back to Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, I must go. My people need me.
To answer the question in chat about the footprints appearing over the model, they are just quads that get spawned. So that's what's going on there.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I'll head back down to the ground plane. I just wanted to see how far I could explore. Now that I've just apparently unlocked unlimited flight. Whoop.
You got to find all the hidden developer objects that we've definitely put around the
all
level.
0 of them.
It is this crazy thing where it's like I just hold down and I can fly, and then I hold like some other combination of directions. Like I have vague control of the character and what direction I'm going in. I think I'm underneath the ground plane at this point.
Probably, yeah,
Yes.
yep.
All right. As Demonic Tart mentions, a 0 out of 0 is 100%. I don't know if statistics works that way because the way you calculate a percentage is by dividing one over the other. So 0 out of 0 is actually a div error. Yeah, it's undefined, as Jack Fly is saying. Well, this is hilariously unintended. I'm gonna. I think I'm like past the game plane at this point. I don't know if I can get back inbounds. But I'll relaunch the game and.
Oh yeah, you gotta Alt F4.
Yeah, I did. It's all good. All right. So, do you have any other plans that you? Demonic Chart is saying that's why my spaceship crashed. Yeah. So, do you have any other plans for the game going forward?
We definitely like to sort of do some more work in the little world we've made with the robots on Mars, terraforming, the whole theme we have there. We'd love to keep exploring it, but probably straying away from the actual gameplay we've done here.
Even then, I think the only we're giving it a lot of we're harping on it a bit, but I think the gameplay loop needs to change, but the actual objective is going to stay the same. We'll have it so that obviously you're collecting water and sunlight, but the it's going to be more of like a puzzle focused sort of gameplay loop instead of just a frustrating experience.
Oh, hey, look, I can reproduce it by going up against this.
Yes.
So that's the same. Oh, I bet there's a collider that's really short. I bet that's what it is.
Oh yeah, that rock there is just a mesh collider, so you can ramp up it, I guess.
Yeah, that's what's doing it. I figured, as long as I'm messing around here, I could at least try to make this useful and figure out how I could isolate the problem.
So part of the to go into more detail onto how that actually works, that system that we were using to avoid where it gets stuck up against walls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is the best solution, but we're raycasting from the player, and then it works sort of like a extended collider on the player. So if you're within a certain distance, then you just can't move forward. You can only move left or right.
I see. So it's basically killing your momentum in that direction, but still applying forces in whatever direction is adjacent to it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We briefly experimented with adding a slight bounce back force when he collided, but it felt a little too unwieldy doing that. So.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing with this object is it's not a capsule, is it? Is it a square like box collider? It feels like its collision volume
for the robot.
Yeah.
It should be a sphere collider, I think. Actually.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Off into space.
Yeah.
If it were a box collider, that probably wouldn't happen.
It is interesting that I'm still getting some kind of downward force. Like something is moving me down unless I manage to keep going back
Gravity's
up.
just a lot lower on Mars.
I mean, this is true.
That's accurate, right?
It is.
I think it's actually heavier, but
no, it's not. Mars is like roughly half the mass of Earth.
Okay, well there you go.
That's definitely intended. That's definitely what we meant to do.
Not a bug, it's a feature. All right. I mean, it is a lot of fun to find stuff like that and mess around. When I was playing Helm's Oddity, I was able to like clip through the wall in a way that I actually wasn't able to replicate after the fact, and I was one of the first people to actually see the end screen. Like, I couldn't finish the game, I couldn't clip back inbounds, but it was. Oh yeah, there we go. Jack Fly is saying that Mars is 38% of Earth's gravity, so it's significantly less.
Nice. Well, this is actually a lot less than a third, I think. This gravity in this fictional universe is probably like maybe 5%.
Yeah. Well, here we go, off into the stars. All right, so chat, now's your last opportunity to ask some questions, but in the meantime, can you are there any other people or projects that you'd like to give a shout out to?
So on our itch page, we do have another game we have published there if people want to check that out.
Yeah, of course.
It's a game about a lizard who always dreamt of being a real dragon. So
Nice.
he goes on a little adventure, burns things.
You've got to include this mode of the game as like an Easter egg where you get like jet boosters and you can fly around.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That's definitely happening.
I mean, maybe the only way to get enough sunlight is to get out of the shade and you have to like fly up to a high area to get into the sun, or maybe you have to go directly into a cloud to collect the water.
We were thinking not to, give away too much about the final game, but we're thinking there's going to be a machine that generates the clouds, and somehow you have to control that with power.
Nice. All right.
Also, Dan, that's a question for you in the chat. Sorry to hold you.
So fun fact, we did not use scriptable objects for this game. The scope of the mechanics just wasn't quite big enough to warrant it. But in the past, I've used scriptable objects. I was able to define a data type for colors in a palette. And then I was able to programmatically change those colors within that same palette. So I could like randomize colors of assets procedurally and that sort of thing. But yeah, if you have a niche thing you need to do, scriptable objects can probably do it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And like I have used scriptable objects myself on when I do a lot of UI development in Unity, and what we'll do is I'll create like a base button object, and then I'll create a data scriptable object that has like the text to display on the button, maybe a unique sprite for it, maybe some other, whatever you want. And then I just I have like a unpack method which instantiates a copy of the button, feeds it the data, the button unpacks its own data and sets its own text to whatever you need it to be. It's much more reliable than just doing things. It's much more reliable than just doing things, everything in the editor. Like you don't want to be storing everything in like your scene. Ideally, that's what scriptable objects are really good for.
Yeah, might borrow that idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. All right. Well, I think I ended up having a lot of fun with this game, but maybe not in the way that it was necessarily intended. But let me go back.
Any fun's intended fun.
That sounds like a good way to think about it. Here, so I will go ahead and drop your itch.io page. So there's Sword and Slither, and if you do end up making a post-gen version of this game, or you're in the process of working on an updated build, I hope you'll get in touch and maybe, not just getting in touch with me directly, but also putting the game on the Discord and asking the other members what they think of it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, thanks so much for hopping on the call, and
thanks for having us on. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.